Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.
So you play Sherlock Holmes?
No, you're like part of his gang solving cases.
He had a gang. Okay, so and you read a book?
A case book.
And that's going to do it for episode 51 of the Cecil and Heath Show. Yeah, motherfucker.
And cut. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. That was awesome.
That was great. I fucking love you, bro.
I love you, man. What?
Hey guys, what's up?
Noah.
Dude. You got to come listen to this podcast Heath and I started. It is so good.
So good.
It's just us fucking riffing, and it's fucking the best. It is literally the best.
Just fucking riffing, going nuts. Dude,
crazy.
the Batman
Fucking
bit? What?
Batman.
Batman.
That sounds hilarious. You guys are you guys okay?
Honestly, never been better, man. Me and Cecil had some coffee, and we put some of that sugar that Eli brought into it. We feel fucking great. We had such a good show.
Guys, that wasn't a coffee.
Like, I really don't even like coffee that's sweet. But, you know, I just fucking went for it. You know, like fucking Sweet Tooth Magoo. Fucking that's it, bro.
Sweet Tooth Magoo. We got to make that character. We got to work him into the thing.
Fucking yes, write it. Fucking write it right now. Fucking
a movie about Sweet Tooth Magoo.
Yes.
I am on it. Sweet Tooth Magoo, the movie.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Tom. Eli accidentally dosed Heath and Cecil with cocaine for this week's episode, apparently.
Yeah, I know. I had some, too.
Oh, are you okay? You don't seem fast like they...
Yeah, no, it was fine, I guess. Who's your guy? Dave? Roller Bob? Tim? Jorge? Steve? Chris? Little Steve. It's probably Little Stevie.
Kyle?
Kyle C or Kyle J? Big difference.
Kyle C.
He's a good dude. That's a good dude.
This explains a lot, actually.
Punch me in the face.
Episode 42, I'm punching Heath in the face!
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah Illusionist, and I'll be the top of the Rico chart this week, but I couldn't have gotten here without my co-conspirators. First up, two men who are way too quick to ask me if I have anything they need to keister when we go through security, Heath and Cecil.
You always have stuff with cool shapes. Like, I feel like you're just humoring me at this point. Like, thank you for that, by the way. That's fun.
On off days, I stuff undocumented, unaccompanied minors up there, you know? God bless America. It's like a tent city up there, I'm telling you.
Gotta make it great again somehow.
I feel like that's an upgrade for those kids. So yep. Yeah, there's a tape of them crying. I don't know if you heard it, but yeah.
I can't stop hearing it. It's funny. I was trying to write jokes for our comedy show. I just kept listening to it.
You can hear it. You just can't comfort them.
And of course, you've already heard it, but also joining us tonight is the guy who brought Grand Theft dildo into the legal lexicon, and a guy charged with shoplifting after ripping a 7-Eleven from its foundation for not having all the advertised Slurpee flavors, Eli and Tom.
In case the audience is wondering, by the way, the number is 3,456. That's how many steal and it's a felony. 3,456.
I don't feel like I can be blamed. Frozen Coke isn't just a flavor, Noah. It's a lifestyle. You can't
no, that's
run out.
true. That's true. All right, so before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to remind you that if you really enjoy this show, you have our patrons to thank for it. They're the ones that make the show happen. So in a legal sense, the show is probably more of their fault than mine. If you'd like to share into their culpability, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Well, considering my recent topics included porn, good-sized penises and a poor Irish guy who gets rich despite being stupid and gross. I'd say the pattern dictates it was either Scotch, Finding Love at 36, or cocaine. So, cocaine. We're gonna do the history of cocaine.
So, sex robots was initially what you wrote in the schedule. So it looks like we're totally passing on Finding Love at 36. Then, Heath,
Looks like that's taken care of, Cecil.
Finding, buying, renting. I mean, these are all synonyms for
lease to own. Yeah.
Lease is the way to go. Yeah, exactly. Just don't get it used.
When you
all.
turn that back into the dealership and it has more miles, do you get charged?
If we do reverse cowgirl, the odometer goes backwards, so it's fine.
All right, Heath. So you absolutely inhaled this week's article. Are you ready to tell us all about it?
I was fucking born ready. Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Well, this is the only one of our shows that my mom listens to, so what is this cocaine of which you speak?
Yeah, so cocaine is the stuff, besides whiskey and bacon grease, that comes out of my skin when I sweat, which is all the time.
All the time, yeah.
And it's pretty amazing considering I haven't had any cocaine going into myself in about 10 years. It's still coming out a lot when I sweat. But to be more specific, cocaine is benzoyl methylcholine, and it's a strong stimulant.
Stupid. Learn how to say words.
I'm glad you included that because that was helpful.
That's the name. I think I said it kind of close. Anyway, it's a strong stimulant that's
Ask for it by name.
extracted from the coca plant. Yeah, so benzoyl methylcholine is a strong stimulant that's extracted from the coca plant and often used as a recreational drug for its weird combination of making you shit, making you bleed, and also making you strangely confident, considering those first two things, about talking to women at a bar, right? Or, you know, whoever you're trying to fuck in between and or during your uncontrollable shitting and bleeding.
This sounds like your life is governed by a spinny wheel that can only land on brown, red, or pink.
All right, so besides giving you plenty of ideal party supplies like the shit and blood that I was talking about, cocaine also causes increased heart rate, sweating, enlarged pupils, and reduced appetite. Except for all the skin on the inside of your cheeks. That will become delicious and will be gone by the end of the evening. But otherwise, less hungry in general.
Okay, not going to claim I'm Dr. Oz here or anything, but Heath, we've met, buddy. Perhaps you should think about trying the cocaine again. Just saying, maybe. Back in the rotation.
It's not a bad idea. Those effects can always be accompanied by cardiac arrest, stroke, and death. Don't forget about that stuff. Okay, I feel like I'm not selling it very well, but just to be clear, it's super fun. It's a big point here. Like euphoria, that's the important takeaway.
Well, plus you have something to blame your chronic perspiration on. Yeah.
Right.
And let's be entirely fair, biscuits and gravy also have the same negative side effects, and we haven't thrown Paula Deen in jail yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I know which gang she would join when we do.
Yeah, MSG 13.
All right, Heath. So how does cocaine do it?
All right, so cocaine, it works by preventing the reuptake of serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, which are neurotransmitter chemicals that make you happy. The drug lets a bunch of that good stuff keep swimming around in your brain longer than normal, and you get to experience joy, if only for a short time. It's cocaine. It's kind of like an antidote to being Eli. Yeah, you'll be thin and happy, but not funny at all. but you'll think you're fucking hilarious. It's a pretty big trade-off. But again, euphoria. So just don't lose focus. You'll be happy for a good hour sometimes. Important to remember.
It's true. When I do cocaine, I'm just a normal guy who works at Staples for an hour. It's weird. I show people where the aisles are.
Happy for a whole hour, though? I mean, I gotta pass. I'm gonna pass. That sounds exhausting. I'm like more of a 20 minutes guy tops, and that's with 2 breaks.
Sure you are, Tom. Okay, so
3 breaks. Fuck you, Noah.
3 breaks with a full day in between each one. Yes.
all right. So where does cocaine come from?
Well, the first known use of the substance was by indigenous populations of the Amazon rainforest and the Andes mountain regions in South America, where people would chew the coca leaves. According to anthropologists, the leaves were used by the Inca tribe during some of their ritual ceremonies and also used to help increase energy levels in messengers who were walking long distances between settlements. Also, got everybody super high, which explains why people are still doing that today in certain areas.
Unemployed now, but Sean Spicer swallows 100 coca leaves before lunch every day. So that's his thing.
You know, back then there was one guy with like a huge dip of coca leaves in his mouth, spitting into an ancient Incan beer can, you know, outside of his mouth.
And then people lighten the bottom of that beer can with a flame. Wouldn't surprise me. So there were centuries of aggressively chewing those leaves, but it wasn't until 1860 that somebody figured out how to isolate the cocaine from the plant and create the refined version of the drug. And naturally, the person who figured out an amazing invention that eventually killed millions of people was a German chemist, as you might have guessed. It's a guy named Albert Niemann. And I'm assuming he went to Peru, sucked down coca leaves for like 10 days without sleeping, and eventually his frantic smashing together of leaves produced enough friction for powder to just start falling out of him.
Yeah, frantic smashing until something comes out. That's the same story of how I began my sex life. So,
Well, see, that's weird because usually German chemists go to South America after killing millions of people. So this is like a role reversal thing.
So a few years later, a French chemist named Angelo Mariani read about the coca plant, and I feel like he had like an H.B. Reese moment, but instead of peanut butter and chocolate, he did one of the more French things ever and combined Bordeaux wine and cocaine.
Hell yeah.
And he named the greatest beverage ever after himself, giving it the title Vin Mariani, or Mariani wine.
Coke wine and your girl's night out with a Kumite.
It's a blood sport.
All right. Not that there needs to be, but does cocaine have any non-euphoria, non-blood shitting uses?
Nope.
It does. It does. Well, one of the immediate uses of the new powder form of cocaine, other than making wine into super wine, was as a numbing agent. It was
a numbing agent is still the primary use for wine and pills among bored housewives. So true.
And it was often helpful to doctors during certain procedures for the numbing thing. For example, Austrian ophthalmologist Karl Kohler used cocaine for anesthesia during cataract surgery. And apparently chloroform and ether were no good because people would vomit and get their eyeballs stabbed out when they jerked around too violently while vomiting.
No.
So, yeah, fun fact I learned, until cocaine was invented, they were just cutting eyeballs with a scalpel with no anesthesia.
Fuck!
Not sure why vomiting was the only violent flinching issue, but that's what it said in the article.
Okay, the cocaine also helped them keep their eyes open really wide, which was helpful, really.
I mean, to be fair, I think Dr. Kohler may have confused the propensity to yell, let's fucking do it, with being numb, I don't think.
So another doctor who started experimenting with cocaine anesthesia around this time was William Halsted, known for being one of the founding professors at Johns Hopkins Hospital and for inventing several surgery techniques. These include the radical mastectomy for treating breast cancer. Apparently, there was already a mild centrist version of that, whatever the fuck that would mean. And also the emergency blood transfusion, which he was one of the first doctors to perform using his own blood to save the life of his sister after she lost blood while giving birth. Fortunately, his blood wasn't completely full of cocaine yet, but it would be soon because he got completely addicted to cocaine while testing the drug on himself. And then also doing quality control on every single syringe he used during surgery after that point, right before giving it to the patient.
It's just like one for you, one for me.
One, two, three for me, like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Okay, like of all the recreational drugs, I feel like cocaine is the best one for surgery. Like Doctor, you really shouldn't have taken all those bath salts before. Oh my God!
Yes. So, following its adoption by surgeons, cocaine also found its way into academia, which makes perfect sense considering it's basically extra twitchy, primitive Adderall. But unlike Adderall, your late 1800s Coke dealer doesn't make you sit on a couch and lie your way through obnoxious personal questions to get a prescription. At least that wasn't required by law. But you're going to spend lots of annoying time on a couch at your dealer's house either way.
True.
And speaking of obnoxious personal questions on a couch, one of the most famous users of cocaine around this time was Sigmund Freud.
Right. Well, I mean, the science of you're just jealous of my dick did not come from beer.
Definitely need more than just beer for that. So Freud actually wrote a paper about cocaine entitled Übercoca, and he described the essay as, quote, a song of praise to this magical substance. Unfortunately, the magic didn't work exactly like Freud thought it did. For example, it turns out cocaine is not an effective antidepressant beyond about the 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Also, not the best way to treat migraines or nasal inflammation. And it's no longer recommended as a way to get over your morphine addiction. Turns out Freud had all of those things incorrect.
Okay, but also Freud had every other thing wrong as well. That's a whole different episode, but every other thing.
How dare you?
Getting over your morphine addiction. There's just a paperclip guy out there trading up crippling addictions. He eventually, after 14 exchanges, moves from Candy Crush to directly lighting rocks of meth on his eyeballs.
All right, so all those things being said, on the plus side, the effects of cocaine almost certainly improved the short-term output of many academics, including Freud, while he was pioneering the entire field of psychoanalysis. And the drug also helps explain a lot of Freud's theories, like the nature of the id, or how cocaine makes you want to fuck your mom and kill your dad. It all makes sense. Is what I'm saying.
At 4 a.m, he's like sweating profusely, just mumbling to himself and pacing in circles around the house. The self is divided into 2 parts. No, 3. Okay, no, I think I need to mow the lawn. The ego. Oh, wait, I should remodel this kitchen floor. That's what I should do. Remodel the kitchen floor.
Yeah, and then I'll fuck my mom on it.
Eli understands me.
Yeah.
So was this just like an ivory tower white collar kind of thing? Or
Good question. Actually, during the same time period, white collar, I didn't get it first, cocaine also started to gain popularity among physical laborers, blue-collar workers, who were often supplied with the drug by their bosses.
I'm listening. Are they hiring?
Yeah, now it's meth and they run factory farms, though. So.
yeah, right.
Well, just in case I wasn't being clear, this is right around the Reconstruction era. So the laborers I'm talking about are very often African Americans who didn't really volunteer for the second part of that title, and who were technically supposed to get paid for stuff at this point because, it's Reconstruction now. And the bosses are very often white people who were technically supposed to pay for stuff at this point. So to make up for some of that infinity % rise in wages, the bosses tried to give their team super speed and super strength with cocaine. They really did this. Also, other superpowers too. According to an article in the Medical News at the time, cocaine was able to make black people, just black people, not white people, it would make black people impervious to the extremes of heat and cold.
Oh, Jesus. What?
It doesn't. Just to be clear. And the whole plan went poorly.
It's crazy because so many of our other assumptions about black labor went so well. It's very disappointing. I could have seen it coming.
Yep. And one other early use of cocaine that's worth mentioning was by American pharmacist John Stith Pemberton, who founded the Coca-Cola Beverage Company in 1886. And taking a cue from that French guy, Mariani, Mr. Pemberton went with one of the more American things ever and combined cocaine with pure sugar and sold it at whites-only soda fountains.
That's because the black people all got it free at work.
Still, This marked the only time in history that the soda is bad for you people were worth listening to. Oh, really, Dave? Is soda bad for me? You know what else is bad for me? Talking to you, Dave. Talking to you.
Yeah, so the Coca-Cola Company kept selling their weird tonic of speed and diabetes until 1903, when they finally decided to remove the cocaine part. And this was mostly because they were pretty sure black people were starting to get some too from buying bottles, get around the fountain thing. And this was a sentiment shared by lots of the country at the time. For example, the New York Times reported that when black people get cocaine in their system, quote, sexual desires are increased and perverted. Peaceful Negroes become quarrelsome, and timid Negroes develop a degree of Dutch courage that is sometimes almost incredible, end quote.
They had to add some more bigotry to the Dutch people there, too.
Yeah, they wanted to hit one more in there. They got the Dutch.
Now, to be fair, that didn't stop the CIA from introducing crack cocaine into the black community in the 1960s in a project.
It was the 80s. Yeah, 80s were pretty progressive.
I always thought that Dutch courage was when you snorted balloons of cocaine out of a mule's ass. Am I thinking of something else?
Same thing.
Okay, all right. I thought it was.
You're thinking of something. I'm writing that down. Still no, though. And just to make sure I'm not underselling the racism, here's a few more examples. In a prominent medical journal at the time, a doctor claimed, quote, cocaine is often the direct incentive to the crime of rape by the Negroes. And quote.
You know, not that I don't appreciate it, Heath, but I don't think anyone's ever accused you of underselling the racism.
Well, I just wanted to be clear. And then one more example. There's the judge in Mississippi who announced during a case that, quote, supplying a Negro with cocaine is more dangerous than injecting a dog with rabies.
Judge has fucking weird hobbies.
Yeah. Yep. And based on all this delicious white people panic, police started using heavier caliber guns so they'd be able to stop a cocaine-crazed black person believed to have, again, superhuman strength. People were also pretty sure that cocaine gave black people superhuman marksmanship. So they adopted a policy of shoot first, ask questions later. And those questions started happening about 2 years ago. That's nice. Not so many answers yet, but they started about 2 years ago with those questions.
Not entirely true. I mean, the answers we know, those don't change. We just pretend we care about the question from time to time to assuage our guilt.
Yep.
It's a little
Well,
different.
right.
I think we can all agree that what's important here is how nicely the question is asked, right? Let's not get regressive.
They missed it too. Cocaine actually lets a black person turn any shiny object into a 20 kiloton nuke. You can never be too careful. You know what I mean? Hands up, don't shoot.
So all this public fear about cocaine got built up more and more. And then in 1914, Congress passed the Harrison Narcotics Act, which made non-medical cocaine and opium illegal.
Boo.
No doubt, several different words for black people were used on the Senate floor at that point, most of which were far less polite than coked up Negro. And just for the record, this would not be the last time in U.S. history that laws were changed specifically to deal with America's crippling fear of the highly dangerous coked up Negro. So pin in that for later. We'll get there.
All right. And now that I think we finally pinned down those MAGA hats we're talking about, I suppose we can pause for a quick break, a little music, and some apropos of nothing.
Who goes there?
Ooh, how's it going, guys? Name's Running Bear. I'm from the Blackfoot tribe, a couple miles down the way. How you guys doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Do you come bearing a message, Running Bear?
Yep. I got it right here. But better yet, I memorized it so I could just tell it to you, and then even better, I wrote a rap about it so I could just do the rap, or whatever you guys want to do.
I think we'll just read it. We'll just read it.
Cool. Reading is the best way to read, isn't it? My teeth are sweaty.
Yep.
Are your teeth sweaty? Have you guys heard about these new leaves? They're fucking amazing. Seriously, you gotta try these new leaves. They're fucking leaves, man. You know, they like just come off the trees.
Got
At you.
it. Got it. Leaves. Okay, we got the message. You can go back to your village now. You can just go
Cool.
back. there.
I will do. You guys want to go get some wings right now? I need some really hot wings, not to eat, but just to like stand over and
Haven't
breathe.
been invented yet. Haven't actually been invented
Got
yet.
it. Got it. Right. And we're back. When we last left off, the U.S. government had finally gotten around to saying, hey, you know this substance that keeps making us shit blood from our noses? Maybe we outlaw that stuff. But they managed to do it for all the wrong reasons. So, Heath, where does this sordid tale of cocaine lead us next?
All right. So throughout most of the 20th century, with more and more regulations, the cocaine business stayed relatively small. But then there was a resurgence in the 60s and 70s when it started to become the drug of choice for lots of rich people and celebrities. And that's when Pablo Escobar decided to help out a whole bunch of future movie makers and Netflix original series producers by responding to the spike in demand and creating a drug empire out of Colombia.
Yep, did it all by himself without the American government's help at all. Just a single entrepreneur.
Okay. You done?
No.
You done?
Not done.
Okay, but Escobar invented AIDS on his own, though. We had nothing to do with that.
All right, so a few quick details on Escobar and his Medellin cartel. At the peak of his operation, they owned 80% of the world's cocaine market, and they were making about $70 million a day.
Jesus Christ.
And during each of those days, during each of those days, they were smuggling about 15 tons of cocaine into the United States alone. 15 tons a day. And that's like about 25,000 heavily packed rectums.
Please tell me you found like an online calculator that does that conversion.
I actually looked for it, but I did a little research on my own. The best keister guy. Yeah, no, the best keister guys can stretch out their rectum to hold about 1 kilo at a time.
Okay.
And a ton is about.
Right.
Yep. Yes, that's a true fact. A ton is about 900 kilos. So that's about 13,000 asses. But I'm figuring the average guy does about 1/2 kilo.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
not
ballparked it
everybody.
around
Nice.
25,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's pretty accurate. Anyway, the coke business got
His
so
grinder
ridiculous.
profile is on fire.
What do you guys think we would do if we didn't think about how much coke people can fit up their asses on average? What do you think we would do if we didn't do this for a living?
Probably like build quantum computers with that exact same brain power.
Boring. Boo. Coke up your ass. Okay, so the coke business got so ridiculous that the cartel was eventually spending $1,000 a week just to pay for rubber bands to hold their stacks of cash.
Wow.
Real fact.
Like at some point, don't you just like look around a room literally built out of cash and just decide, you know what, guys, I'm going to stop here. This is good.
Do you, Tom? Do you?
I got to build 2 rooms for every one. It's different. I want to circle back to the 25,000 people. You know that there's just one cocaine mule that thinks he can do the work of 3 people, and they have to pull like linked balloons out of his ass like a string of bratwurst. You know?
See, Eli, magic used to matter.
Best anal beads have coke in them. Absolutely. So now we're getting into the 80s, and the widespread use of cocaine is getting so extreme, it's actually ruining an entire decade of American life. Like, there's some fun music and some good, bad movies, but pretty much everything's fucking gross in the 80s. All the things that are wrong with American culture, they got all amped up and exaggerated, and also, the whole time, the country's being run by a B actor with ever more crippling Alzheimer's. And somewhere along the way, during this coke-addled hellscape of bad art and Siminoche, That's economics backwards, by the way. Everyone started smoking crack too because cocaine wasn't good enough. So they had to get crack as well.
Yeah, it was invented by the government. Wake up, sheeple!
No.
Nope. Okay.
Why is Alex Jones on this
Came
episode?
into the
Not
ghetto. There are
how
three
it
dealers
went.
who talk
All
about
right.
the same guys with a
So-
suitcase full of manila folders.
All right. It does burn that hot. So it bakes that hot. So crack was invented at some point in the 70s when some lunatic drug dealer decided coke wasn't good enough. And he had a fucking conversation at a board meeting for his cartel. And he's like running around the room doing parkour on office chairs for no reason, just yelling ideas, being like, okay, so this cocaine isn't making me shit, bleed, and vibrate enough. Any chance, just spitballing here, rolling with you on this, any chance we can bake this stuff into pebbles and then smoke the pebbles until our face explodes? And before you answer, sub-question, can we make those pebbles cost $5 each? Yes to both. Fucking great, we're doing that. And that's pretty much how it happened. By the mid-'80s, it got super popular.
What's wrong, Jim? My cocaine's just sort of, I don't know. Have you tried super cocaine? Super cocaine? Well, yeah, it's like regular cocaine on cocaine. Sign me up.
Never have the 80s been more succinctly summarized, Tom. Congrats.
Yeah, even the one guy talking to himself part was good. It was all 80s, yeah.
Yep. And just in case anyone's curious, crack got its name when that crazy asshole from the board meeting finally got some cocaine pebbles all cooked up. And when he smoked it, it made a crackling noise. And as the room full of people got more and more crazy fucking high, I'm assuming they'd make the noise along with him. And pretty soon everyone was just mumbling like, crack, 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 crack. And they went with that for the title.
Fun fact, Crack, Crack, and Crack were the original mascots for Rice Krispies, but all they did was suck dick and die in gang violence-related incidents, so they got replaced with Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
You're right. I saw one of those test commercials early on. Didn't two of those L's do ass to ass in one of those?
They did. That's true.
And just to be extra obnoxious, we've managed to invent way too many goddamn nicknames for crack. According to Wikipedia, that includes Atari, Bazooka, Beamers, Berry, Bing, Bomb, Butter. Stupid. What if you want fucking butter?
From a guy on the street?
Well, you clarify it first, Eli. You don't just take
An Indian guy?
it just gives you ghee right there.
Also, Casper, Cloud, Crunch and Munch, Fish Scale, Fries. Again, like, what if you want fries? Like, don't fuck with people trying to buy food on the street from maybe drug dealers. You don't know, Eli. You don't know where people get their food, their butter, their fries. Also, Golf Ball, Gravel, Hail, Hamburger. Again, fuck you. Ice Cube, Kangaroo, Kibbles and Bits, Paste Pebbles, Pony, Ready Rocks, Scud, Scotty, Sleet, Snowballs, Teeth, Top Gun, White Cloud, Yahoo, and Roxanne. And you know everyone's going to do the fucking song Gross. Don't call it Roxanne.
Wait, it was called Bing and Yahoo? Think how popular this could have been if it was called Google.
But I don't know. I trust Wikipedia. I mean, I feel like you could spend your entire life asking crack dealers for kibbles and bits and crunch and munch without ever getting any crack. Right? That's just there to make a white guy look stupid.
Yep. And this is where some serious racism finds its way back into the story, like it often does here in America. So the newfound popularity of crack was seen as extra threatening because white people got worried about all the black people crimes that were going to get even worse. Because once again, white people as a group decided that colored people were magically enhanced by the yellow sun of the earth and got special supervillain powers from certain chemicals like cocaine and crack.
If only there was some way to keep the black man down.
Play the national anthem.
Oh, Jesus.
Real.
So now it's 1986, and we're well into the unwinnable war on drugs. Remember our Cobra Effect episode? President should have listened. Anyway, in response to the public fear about crack, Congress passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which made the criminal punishments for crack cocaine way worse than the punishments for powder cocaine. This included a mandatory minimum jail sentence of 5 years for possession of 5 grams of crack or more. It also established a weight ratio of 100-1 in terms of severity. So the penalty for getting caught with 500 grams of powdered cocaine was equal to the penalty for 5 grams of crack.
Jesus.
And with crack being more popular in communities with larger black populations generally, this basically made cocaining while black into a crime that's 100 times worse.
Yeah, Jesus.
And 100-1, it's still the going exchange rate.
It's not just for drugs either. The Stanford kid rapes someone, they get sentenced to a free back massage and a 50% off dry cleaning voucher. So.
Only 50%. Boo.
And by the way, we didn't fix any of those rules until 2010 when we passed the Fair Sentencing Act. The new law in 2010 reduced the ratio of 100-1 down to 18-1. So
Wait,
actually,
what?
we did not fix those rules in 2010 either.
Fix is
And
not the
we
right
still
word.
have a whole bunch of mandatory minimums on the books, and not just for drugs. Despite the recent attempts to change this, about 55% of all prison inmates in the United States were given their sentence based on a mandatory minimum law.
Wow.
Hold the fucking phone. We actually paused and we thought about this inequality. And then after much consideration, we're like, okay, let's keep it unfair. I think we can all agree on that. But not that unfair.
I don't know. I'd say it's about 100 times harder to be black than it is to be white. Let's make it 18 times harder. 18 to say, right?
Well, yeah, and they went with 18 instead of 20 because they're like, let's stay away from fifths altogether, guys. Oh, no fifths.
And just to really hammer home this racism thing one more time, here's the story of the African-American star athlete who played a big part in causing that racist law to be passed. So there were shitloads of people dying from cocaine and crack at this point, but it wasn't until the death of a first-round NBA draft pick that lawmakers really started to give any fucks. And thanks to God having a super good sense of humor, the basketball player was named Len Bias. He died of an overdose 2 days after the 1986 draft, and this was a major tipping point for all the crack hysteria. And by the way, it turns out Mr. Bias was using good old-fashioned white people powder cocaine. It's not that it made any fucking difference to policy or public opinion.
Boston taking Bias with the second pick is fine, but the Celtics trading up for that bag of Coke in the first round to sort of get him as a teammate was absolutely pushing it, in my opinion. Totally pushing
Cecil,
it.
you don't get the 80s at all.
Traded him for a bag of 8 balls. Yeah. So again, the 80s were an abomination in so many ways, including the giant, twitchy, sweaty Coke party. But it looks like we've managed to get things under control a little better recently. Over the last few decades, there's been a definite decline in cocaine consumption in the U.S., with the amount of people who report using it within the last year getting cut in about half. Unfortunately, it looks like a good amount of this drop in cocaine use went along with a giant opioid crisis.
Right,
So
yeah.
let's all remember what Freud taught us. You can't quit heroin with cocaine. Also, safe to say, vice versa, probably also a bad idea.
I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to be the first guy who breaks out a Coke at a party nowadays. But if you're the first guy who breaks out heroin at a party, that party was for heroin. That was a heroin party. That was what that was.
And everyone out there with opioid constipation, remember, you can treat that with cocaine. Just ask your doctor if cocaine is right for you.
All right, before we wrap it up, here's a few other fun facts about cocaine. First of all, I found this interesting. It's still produced in pretty much exactly the same way as it was over a century ago. Farmers harvest the coca leaves, then dry them, cut them into little pieces, and then sprinkle that batch with powdered cement.
What?
Then they soak it all in gasoline.
Okay.
Gasoline.
All right.
Throw out the leaves, and extract the cocaine freebase chemical from the gasoline using fucking battery acid.
Noah's
Then they add
taking notes.
caustic-
Has everybody noticed that Noah is taking notes? Take the pencil from Noah.
And from there, after all the cocaine and battery acid and gasoline stuff they do, they add caustic soda or lye, the stuff you shovel on mass graves and filter
weird way
the stuff
to exemplify that object.
That's why is that weird? I feel like that was a reasonable way to explain it. So lye, and then they filter that stuff through some cloth and then dry it into a paste called pasta in Spanish. Seems like another potential point.
Be careful what you
Stop
order.
using food words. Don't use food words for really poisonous. Anyway.
Heath,
pasta-
maybe you shouldn't meet people in alleys for pasta.
I
I'm just saying
like
these
food
things.
wherever. I get hungry. It doesn't matter when. A lot of people don't eat when they have Coke, but it's different for some people. I wish
do not
everybody
cut
would stop
into
being so
to Heath's pasta tea
judgmental.
time. Okay. He's like slipping spaghetti
Anyway.
out from in between her breasts.
She's like, I didn't have any spaghetti. But
It's
thank you.
romantic. It's like Lady and the Tramp. You guys don't know. Anyway, the pasta then gets recrystallized over and over using other terrifying industrial solvents, I'm assuming, and eventually becomes powder cocaine.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is with the new EPA chief, you can do all that stuff with natural waterways now. So
Yeah, right.
you don't even need any of the leaves.
Yeah. And despite all that terrifying stuff, millions of people take cocaine and suck it into their face as fast as they can.
Okay, all that sounds bad, but you know what they say? Never tour a sausage factory or an iPhone factory. Lots of blood. Very similar.
Thank you. He's underplaying how fun it is and how much the
man, if,
government
like,
did.
If it was legal, if Heineken had like a cocaine factory, how fun would that tour be though? Like,
Pretty
holy
sweet.
shit.
Just
It'd be
people
the best.
running through for their 18th tour. Again.
All right. One last detail. Just to answer the question on everyone's mind, obviously. Yes, you can shove cocaine up your ass and get high from a cocaine suppository.
Yeah, that was my
a thing
question.
you can do. Also, vaginas, I'm told. Pretty cool.
Okay, Heath, I feel like maybe your penchant for combining the word shove and vagina, that may explain your current relationship status. Shove, not the right verb, my friend.
It's not that. It could be, but it's not. So it's a whole bunch of other stuff, Tom. Whole bunch of other stuff. So this all sounds bad, but believe it or not, there's a happy ending. We invented meth. Wait, let me finish. All right. Which led to Adderall. It's the great. We started talking about this wonderful, wonderful stuff earlier. And Adderall is a magical pill created by modern chemistry made of methamphetamine salts, which makes you into a happy, energetic genius, just like Brad Cooper in that fucking movie. It's amazing. If you ever need to learn an entire semester of constitutional law, also global monetary policy, Hegelian dialectics, and quantum cryptography all in one night, while also writing a 50-page thesis, smoking an ounce of pot, and fucking your ex-girlfriend several times, Adderall is the drug for you. Ask your doctor about Adderall today. Adderall. The end.
Okay, just a little side note. It's also a great way to have a very fast anxiety attack for those of you
And get you
wondering what
right
the
through
ends.
it.
Very quick
Right
one.
through it. All right, so Heath, if you had to summarize everything you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Get a prescription for Adderall. And then share some with me. Unless that's illegal.
I think
That
that's
is illegal.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
share it. Wink. It's amazing. Also, don't take drug advice from a podcast.
All right, so speaking of Adderall, are you all studied up for the quiz?
I'm ready to go.
All right, we've had the porn episode, the cocaine episode. He seems to be picking topics to address some of his life concerns. What burning question will his next essay seek to answer? A, do tears make the perfect bong water?
Oh, shit.
B, which culinary tradition is best? Cup of noodles, craft dinner, or eating cereal over the sink? C, a brief history of the futon.
Oh,
Or D, sex robots. Dishwasher safe? Yeah.
Just an arm sticking out of it.
I Really wish Tom didn't clearly have a spy cam on me right now. See my whole day, and it's E, all of the above.
All right, I got one here for you, Heath. If your day is gone and you want to ride on, A, she don't lie, B, she don't lie, C, she don't lie, or D, cocaine.
It's
Love it.
it's B, she don't lie.
That is correct. I thought I was going to get you.
It's, it's
put in the
attractive.
middle
A
there.
and
Yeah.
C are tricky. It's
Right.
B. It's B,
Right.
she don't
No,
lie.
you're right.
All right, Heath. Which actor is actually a huge cokehead? A, The Rock. B, Flake Gyllenhaal. C, Rob Lowe. D, Edward Snorton. Or E, all of them. Every fucking actor is a fucking huge cokehead.
Everyone with money does cocaine because it's great.
Answer is F, the song Eli was just singing.
When you get some money, you'll try it and you'll be like, this is great. All right. So, Heath, obviously we spent an episode shitting on a fantastic time, which is the reason that Bible Peace Theater exists in the first place. But you obviously forgot some downsides. What are some other negative side effects of cocaine that you left out? Is it A, disco?
Ooh, good
B,
answer.
the mandatory 10-minute conversation everyone on coke has to have about the quality of the cocaine
It's
after
B.
you do
It's
it.
B. It's B. Don't even move on. I fucking hate that. It's B.
Is it C, having the best sex of your life means it can only go down from there?
Definitely not that.
Gremlins 2.
Bite your tongue.
All right. Well, let's all pretend we can get erections with cocaine going on. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
right?
C.
What the hell are you talking about?
You gotta mix it with some other stuff from hims.com.
All right, well,
Hims.com.
all right, well, Eli, apparently you were the first to best our champion because I don't think Heath got that right, even though you didn't mention. I'm sure you meant to mention that. So that means you're going to take over hosting duties next week, and you get to decide who has to do all the reading stuff.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Noah.
Yeah, fine. Thank you, Eli. All right, well, for Cecil, Eli, Heath, and Tom, I'm Noah, thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, I'll be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Tom and Cecil on the Cognitive Dissonance podcast, and more of Eli, Heath, and me on Scathing Atheist, The Skeptocrat, and God Awful Movies. And if you'd like to help to keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. None of that money will go to cocaine, I promise. Or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you... Okay, none of my fifth of that money will go to cocaine. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. Okay, I'm going to head back to my village now.
Great.
Unless you guys want to go swimming or something, right? You want to go swimming? It's fucking hot, right?
Nope. We do not want to go swimming.
Cool. I'm going to go swimming.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.